It's the radio guy, Mike Prince. Welcome to another special episode of the Mike Prince Show. Of course, our job is to give you the news that you can't find just anywhere. Today is not going to be any exception to the rule. We are proud to have on the show for the first time, and I'm got a pretty good feeling that it won't be the last time. He is now the athletic director of Tennessee State, and that is none other than Dr. Mikki Allen. How you doing today, Coach?
I'm great, Mike, and I appreciate you all having me on, and heard a lot of great things about your broadcast and the great work you do for HBCU football and all sports, and just happy to be on this morning.
Well, we're happy to have you on, sir, and as I may mention in the introductory, I don't think this is going to be the last time that I hear from you, man.
Oh no, man, we gonna be we're gonna have a lot of presence on this broadcast, and I know there's the followership's amazing here, and everyone is from what I've heard in the HBCU community and in the sports world that this is where they go to get their news. So if that's where they go, that's where we want to be. So you will always have an open line of communication with Tennessee State University through Doc here, man. We definitely want to make sure that everyone knows that though we have new leadership, we still have the same goals, and that's compete for championships in all sports. So, just again, happy to be on.
Well, we're happy to have you on, man. And before we get into the journey that you're beginning at Tennessee State, give us a little background for those who might not be familiar with Dr. Mikki Allen and how you landed at Tennessee State.
Absolutely. So I attended Tennessee for undergrad. Was a defensive back on a national championship team there in '98, and played with the great Peyton Manning and T. Martin, and we can go on and on. We had a lot of success there. From Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Went to high school in the Middle Tennessee area, Brentwood Academy, which was a very storied high school program. And again, played at Tennessee, had an opportunity to play briefly in the NFL with the 49ers organization. Had an injury and to my right ring finger. And after injury, got into an entrepreneur venture. Actually started a collegiate license apparel company where me and a teammate of mine, Steve Johnson, we were the collegiate version of a company called Mitchell and Ness. Our company was 2934 Vintage Sportswear. So if you wore throwback jerseys in the early 2000s when they were very popular, and you just threw a jersey on with a prominent sports figure and a name, from Julius Erving to Herschel Walker, Earl Campbell, I can go on and on. That was from our company, and we had those athletes signed to royalty deals to represent our brand. So ended up running that. Had an opportunity to do that for 5 years, and then got a buyout and moved on and transitioned to the college landscape and got into college athletics through fundraising. Got an opportunity to, after master's work and receive my doctorate in education, to work in college athletics as a major gift fundraiser, and spent time at Tennessee a decade fundraising for capital projects, facility enhancements, you name it, from annual gifts to capital funding. I was a part of what we did there at Tennessee, and I expect to use my fundraising skill set to really enhance what we're going to do, great things we're going to do at Tennessee State University. Had an opportunity after the bowl game last year. Tennessee, we come back off the bowl game, and in my inbox, the Parker exec firm said, "Hey, you would be a great candidate for the Tennessee State athletics director job." And hey, it was almost like I was looking at my blessing. I'm a man of God. My late grandfathers were both educators and proud alums from Tennessee State University. My wife was a member of the AOB, the great AOB, and she was a majorette there, as a sophisticated lady, pledged Delta there. My brother, I have two brothers. One is a radiologist at Vanderbilt, but he attended Tennessee State in Meharry. I attended there for my sports management master's degree. So we have a long lineage in our family with this HBCU institution that I'm a proud leader of in terms of the athletics department. So got involved in the interview process and won the job. And really through the interview process, I communicated that one, I recognize that Tennessee State University is one of the most storied programs in collegiate athletics. When you look at the history of the program, when you go through track and field, football, basketball, and you go through and comb through that sports, that the lineage and just the history of the program, why wouldn't you want to be the AD that represents a program where the great Ralph Boston competed for, and Wilma Rudolph, and Richard Dent, and Ed Tootal, Claude Humphreys, Jefferson Street Joe. Hey, you can tell, Mike, I'm getting excited just
Yeah.
talking
Hey,
about them.
keep right on, brother. Keep
Hold
right
on.
on.
But hey, I tell you this, we plan to do great things, and there's always more leaders as you have an opportunity to be around young people, and as an AD to really set the stage to make sure that the student athletes that we currently serve have a first class experience. That's my role, because they're the next Ralph Bostons. They're the next, Carlos Rogers. We have Robert Covington now representing the institution right now in the NBA, and I had an opportunity to speak with him, and we'll get him involved in some of our projects in relationship to basketball there. But the great thing about this role, I'll tell you this, is you don't want to go anywhere where you don't have fan support, and that's certainly not the case in regards to the Big Blue community. So they've embraced me and my wife. We finally transitioned in the Nashville area. I have two kids. My daughter, she's a rising seventh grader, a little baller as well. Actually, she's not little; she's almost 5'9".
Wow.
But she's
Seventh grader at 5'9"?
seventh grade, five. Yeah. She plays a 2 and 3 position for basketball. And man, you don't want to see her on the court, and you definitely don't want to see her lined up in lane 2, 3, or 4 in track.
Go ahead on, Papa. Talk about your
Yeah,
baby
man.
girl.
Yeah. She says, Dad, I want to compete for you in your program. I said, hey, well, that's a great goal. That's a great goal. The sky's the limit. But great athlete, great student. It's in her blood. And then I have a son. His name is Jansen. Jansen's a rising third grader. And, I told somebody yesterday, with us moving into the city, I do know there's some grassroots sports teams. They just elevated. So no, we're proud about them, and just a tremendous opportunity going forward.
Absolutely. We're talking right now with Dr. Mikki Allen, Athletic Director of Tennessee State, and couldn't help but notice to jump out as you were given a brief background of your fundraising experience. Man, you picked a fine time to sit at the driver's seat of an athletic director's position. We have this COVID going on and all kind of race-sensitive issues. But let's focus on this fundraising part. From your background of fundraising, how do you set yourself up with what is going to obviously be a challenge at getting funding with the restrictions that we'll have as far as people being able to come into the games? Because FCS programs, unlike FBS programs, are highly dependent on student enrollment and actual seats being sold.
Yeah, so where we'll lose traction this year in terms of it's when you look at the financial implications, right, of around COVID and fan attendance this year. You'll see some trends where where if you have a high level of expectancy in terms of how those fans will implicate either being there or not being there, implicate your budget. This is a year where you can't really count on that. So you're going to have to go out and, build relationships and have conversations with corporations and investors that could turn around and make a contribution to the athletics program. One thing that I'm setting up is virtual conferences with our Tennessee State Alumni Association and those chapters that we have 57 or so chapters within our National Alumni Association. I had the opportunity to speak to that group last weekend, and I communicated our vision. And then more so, I've also communicated our needs. And I think people give to people. I've always been a proponent of that and thought that. So really, it's just getting in front of, potential investors, our current investors. And if you're not associated in any way, shape, form, or fashion in the great city of Nashville in terms of locking in with our program from a financial standpoint, a philanthropy standpoint, I'm going to give you the reasons why. Because if people give to people, I'm going to tell the stories and connect you to our student athletes. They're doing amazing things across all of our sports programs. So what we need to do as athletic administrators, and I have a great team that I inherited, we need to get out and make sure we're in the community. And if we can't be there physically, we'll be there visually online. I've done a lot of Zoom, so we're going to be Zoom, and making sure that everybody knows what we're about, where we're going, and how they can play a huge role in that. So to answer your question, Mike, yeah, where we're losing, where we will lose this year in terms of fan attendance, I strongly believe that we'll make up in terms of telling our story, delivering our message, that we need people involved in our athletics program for many years to come. And I'm a firm believer that the experiences that I had at the University of Tennessee in that area, this is time for me to step up and deliver on things that I told President Glover that's entrusted me with this program. I told her I was going to get done. We'll get it done.
Absolutely. Now, man, you got to imagine you had two quick blows on the financial side. The Motor City Classic is canceled. Then you have the Southern Heritage Classic canceled. And you're going like, wait a minute, man, this is not a fair start. Can we hit the reset button, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, sir. I'm like, whoa, when you start hearing, when you $400,000 guarantee and a $350,000 guarantee, at an HBCU, that's a huge blow. And you're correct, Mike. But that's the situation at hand. I'm someone that I work out of a spirit of optimism. I don't know if you can tell and hear the energy in my voice, but you get the information, and we have a huge amount of respect for what the Southern Heritage Classic means to both our institution and Jackson State. Fred Jones has done an amazing job with that contest. This would have been the 31st year of that game. And every year our students, they lock back in classes, and they that's the game that they circle. And our band, our AOB, and the pageantry and all that week entails. Everyone gets excited about it, and now that they know beforehand that it's not going to happen, along with Detroit, that's a huge blow. But I spoke to Rod Reed, and Rod said, "Hey." That's our football coach, and Ron said, "Man, I feel like I'm a NFL playoff contender. I don't know who to prepare for. I'm watching film on this team. I'm watching film on that team. So he's helping me track it. And once games have been canceled, what are the other options in terms of FCS opponents? Because we have to make sure that we're taking into consideration that to get an automatic FCS bid for playoffs, there's a certain number of games that have to be played, and we certainly want to make sure that we do our due diligence in meeting that from a scheduling standpoint. So, yeah, that's what's going on.
Yes, sir. We're talking right now with Dr. Mikki Allen of Tennessee State, and coming in full of energy, and deservedly so, because everyone is going to have to do some creative out-the-box thinking in this role of leadership right now. And when you look at the comparison of the dollars from an FBS program compared to an FCS program, do you think, especially now with the COVID attachment to athletics, and it's going to forever be changing the dynamics of what once was, do you see more classic games as a possible answer for FCS and in particular HBCU programs of offsetting some of that funding?
I do. I do, and the a lot of the organizers that put together these great classics. Once upon a time, TSU played in the Circle City, and then you had the 100 Black Men, uh, game that was in Atlanta versus Tennessee State and FAM. I think you're going to see a lot of those games resurface. Specifically, potentially the matchup between Tennessee State and FAM, and I think those games are just as special as when you look at PWI games that are preseason games and staples, like the Chick-fil-A has one prior to the, week zero games and things of that nature that, are traditional matchups in PWI land. I think you're going to start to see more HBCU contests because, there definitely some benefits financially for those teams to be matched up. And people get excited that love HBCU sports to see those matchups. And again, like I said, all the pageantry and there's concerts that you can have and entertainment that now it's not only just Saturday, Mike. It goes from Wednesday. You can actually start at Monday. You can go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And Saturday is just the cherry on top. So
Right.
we'll be in all those discussions because what I want to do, I want to make sure, even though we operate in the OVC conference, which is a PWI conference, we're the only HBCU in that conference. Okay, but what I will not waver on is this: we're not in the SWAC, we're not in the MEAC, but we understand how we got to where we are today, and it was because we made our mark in terms of being one of the best HBCU sports programs that I consider it playing. And I think that it's important that we pay homage to that heritage, and we also, as we go through our schedule, and make sure that we align ourselves with our other partners that have been with us from day one, being your Southerns, your Grambling, your Jackson States. We always have that alignment, and that's highly important to me.
It's ironic that you would bring that up, my brother, because I know you're new in the seat, but being that you're in the OVC, and I believe it's been 20 plus, we're 25 plus years now, and understanding the lineage and the heritage that was connected, has there been a thought of potentially returning to one of the HBCU conferences, in particular that of the Southwestern Athletic Conference? And the reason I asked that, I'm a SWAC guy. And
Mhm.
FAMU's edition of coming in. And of course, the great big whisper would be, man, Tennessee State would be the perfect fit. You could have this thing, and it's back to some of the glory days. It will fit the DNA of what Tennessee State. And by the way, you threw me off when you said TSU because we think of Texas Southern when you say TSU, but we can get used to that too. But when you hear that, and I know it's early and your ink is still drying on your contract, but has that even been remotely discussed of that potentially happening? And on a scale of 1 to 10, what would that number be? With 10 being the greatest?
Yeah, I'd be remiss to say that I haven't asked questions and try to figure out. I've heard so much about that conversation, so just trying to as I've come in, just trying to get information on what that dialogue has been. Teresa Phillips, I'm taking over for Teresa, and Coach Phillips is a pioneer when you look at her being one of the first woman to coach a head men's basketball team in college sports is phenomenal. And she did a great job and is passing the torch here. So I know she's had conversations with the SWAC commissioner, and that dialogue has been there. And just trying to see, hey, what would that entail? Is it, does it fit in terms of geography when you look at these matchups? And now you really have to pay close attention in relationship to COVID, how much you're traveling, right? And then what side of the SWAC would you be on? And and there's so many other factors and there's so many other sports too as an AD that you have to take in consideration, not only football, but then what does that look like if we were to be in the SWAC for some of our other sports teams, such as golf and tennis and volleyball and things of that nature. So it's definitely not a conversation that that can't be had, and I'm open to hearing what that entails a little further, as I get into my role.
Well, I can tell you, my man, uh, geographically, I've done a little research myself. And I,
Okay. I heard that.
I couldn't do what I do right without a little bit of research. The
No,
travel would
yeah.
not be that different from what you guys have to deal with, and especially the competition level in the sports that you made mention of. I'm just thinking, as they say, when you wish upon a star, you know,
Hey, I can see you. I mean, yeah, I can see you right now, Mike. But hey, I say one person that they'll always bounce back with that wish upon a star. That's Mickey Mouse. Mickey's been making money for a lot of years,
yes, he
and
has.
right
Yes, he has.
there with that wand, and if Mickey shut down right now, then that means the world needs to be shut down, and it's shut down for a reason. But no, a lot of I've heard that throughout our the SWAC affiliation and getting back to our to that those traditional matchups and the glory days that has come up within our TSU or Tennessee State University community, and it's like I said, it's something that I look to gain more insight and in the near future.
Well, in the infamous words of a hotel or motel chain,
Mhm.
we gonna leave the light on for you, brother.
Say that lights on.
Hey,
Yeah.
lights are on,
Now
baby.
is it that's the thing, Mike? Is it a suite? Is it the first floor next to the restroom, or is it a suite? Now, yeah, but you just tell me the lights on.
With the lights
The
on, well, in the infamous words of T.I., an Atlanta rapper, you can do whatever you
I
like.
know. I heard that. Now you sure? Now you sure you didn't have a record deal in the in the late 90s?
No,
Oh, come on, Mike.
no, hey man, I just call them like I see them, brother. That's all. It'll be I personally, in all fairness, I think it would be a
Yeah.
perfect fit, geographically, historically,
Mm.
and just the competitive nature of things, man. And as the good folk would say, remember the come back to Jamaica's uh, commercials. Come back
Uh-huh.
to Jamaica. So come back to the swag. Even though you had never been in the swag, but you play the games. You play the
Absolutely.
Southerns. You play the FAMUs, who's now part of the SWAC. You play the Gremlins and the Jackson States. Man, you might as well go on and make it official.
Yeah, we play those things though. I'll tell you this. I tell you, I had an opportunity to talk to Courtney and a good friend of mine, Keith McClooney, there, who is the deputy AD at FAMU, and everyone there is excited about the coming over to the SWAC, and as they both spoke very highly of the commissioner, and and just being embraced by that conference. So that's very positive.
Yes, sir. It's a lot of good things
Yeah.
happening to Charles McClellan, who serves as the commissioner for the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Matter of fact, your fraternity brother.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Well, I'm hearing he's running it right. He's looking at sponsorships, TV rights. I mean, man, like I said, the diamond's always in the sky somewhere. So
Well, I'm gonna
I
bring you
know he's
down just for a second because I know you just threw a little Kappa reference out there. He is a PV grad. Oh,
yeah. So he's Prairie View through and through.
yeah, he's
I heard
he's
that.
Prairie View
I
through
heard,
and through. Now look. Now PV made him. Kappa saved him. So we'll split him with you. How about that?
I heard that. Now that's all. TV native, Kappa saved.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. We're talking right now with Dr. Mikki Allen, athletic director for the Tennessee State Tigers. Matter of fact, I got a little family history. I have a cousin who
Okay.
graduated from Tennessee State. Matter of fact, she was there when Miss Oprah Winfrey was a student at Tennessee State. So,
Wow.
yeah, so you see how this kinship is coming back and tying it all in together, man. I'm
I
not trying to
see
put no
that.
pressure on you, but the pressure is on, brother.
Well, I see that. Hey, yeah, maybe we can get Oprah's cell number from your cousin. I can go. Oprah's been I mean, man, when you look at it, you talk about the word exemplary and what she's done in her career, and being someone that touched Tennessee State's campus and attended the university and a graduate and alum. Man, you talking about setting the bar? She's definitely set it high.
Now, when we go back to your athletic program, and of course, you apply for a position, you do your research, you're doing your data. What would you say would be the identity of Tennessee State athletics today?
Today, the identity would be that our teams, when I did the research, we we have sports programs that we compete hard. We recruit in the southeast. There's a heavy concentration in terms of our recruiting in the Georgia and Florida area, and we have coaches that that understand the where they are and the expectations of Tennessee State athletics. And I would say our identity right now is the fact that we're an HBCU program that's operating a PWI, and we're trying to gain the same respect that we have in HBCU sports world in the PWI sports world. So I'd say a work in progress, but we're not far. And and hopefully through my leadership, we can get to where we know we need to be, rightfully be, and that's on top of that OVC pyramid. Then continue to keep our recognition in the HBCU sports world as a highly competitive and championship level program.
Okay, okay. And so the future, let's go down the road. Dr. Mikki Allen, 5 years from now, where do you visualize your athletic program?
Man, we I told everyone our 5 year goal is to achieve comprehensive and competitive excellence on the field and in the classroom. 5 years from now, I want everyone that speaks of Tennessee State University to say, hey, that's a bad program, and bad in a good way, because when they come and they get in between the lines, they're gonna represent the university well, and they're gonna compete for championships, and and there's a level of consistency there when you speak of our program in a 5 year period from now to then, and then at the end of the day, I told everyone we're not just gonna show up, we're gonna show out. And I want everyone to think of our athletics program as they think of our band, our AOB band. When it's halftime, they know what they're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get, and they're gonna deliver. And every time we get an opportunity to compete, 5 years from now, you're gonna know what you're gonna get in terms of us delivering.
Okay, okay. And if you were to describe the Mikki Allen era in one word, what would that word be?
One funding,
Funding?
fundraising, yes, fundraising. My era right now is bringing capital funding, outside funding in at a high level. We're in the great city of Nashville. There's so many corporations around our campus, from Amazon, Bridgestone, AT&T. I can go on and on. And I want everyone to think that, or to remember this era that I'm leading is an era that I created opportunities through fundraising that had never been done for Tennessee State athletics before.
Sounds like a plan, my friend. Look, man, I want to thank you for joining us and blessing us with your presence on today. We have a custom here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network that we allow our guests to have the closing thoughts and comments. And the floor is now yours, sir.
Yeah, I appreciate the great work that you do, Mike. And I know in college athletics, I don't think that there's just due given uh, to a lot of the HBCU programs and the great leadership and the great support from a network standpoint and broadcast standpoint. And I would say, to the listeners today, continue to support this broadcast and efforts in relationship to showcasing and broadcasting the great things and great work student athletes, the leadership involved in HBCU sports are doing. It is something that if you continue to make sure that you continue to stay locked in, I think a lot of the discussions that are going on out here in terms of the inequality conversation around social inequality and and rights and just acknowledgement for the great work that a lot of minorities are doing out here. I think that these networks and these broadcasts are going to pick up tremendous steam going forward. I think that you're about to see a transformational change in the landscape of college sports. You're already seeing big time athletes and prospects saying that, hey, why not an HBCU? In the social climate today, why not a HBCU? You just saw that Netflix, they gave $120 million. They gifted Spelman and Morehouse. So you're starting to see philanthropists give to HBCUs at a high clip. So continue to stay locked in. Great days are ahead for a lot of HBCU programs. We're one of them that has a lot of history being an HBCU, and that's one thing that I'm going to continue to communicate to everyone associated with our program is that great days are ahead for the industry and how we are going to go forward as HBCU programs.
Well, sir, I thank you very much. I couldn't have put it better myself. He is Dr. Mikki Allen, the athletic director for the Tennessee State Tigers. And I'm going to serve another note with you, Brother Mikki, because
come on,
you're a man. You're a KA Psi man. Colors are red and white. You're married to a
Crimson
Delta.
And cream.
Crimson and
I'll
cream.
let you add.
Okay, yes, sir. I'll accept that one. And your lovely wife, she's a Delta. I'll also say crimson and cream. And in case you didn't know, the official colors of the Southwestern Athletic Conference is black, crimson, and cream. So,
hey man, I need to call Charles and tell him, man, you sure you don't need a deputy commissioner? Because I got a great candidate for you, baby.
Man, look here, don't let this be the last time that we chop it up here at the Open Mic Broadcast Network. We truly, truly appreciate you guys for being a part of our show on today. Of course, again, he is Dr. Mikki Allen. I am the radio guy, Dr. Mike Prince. Remember, our social media handles for Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter are all at Mike Prince Show. The YouTube channel is Open Mic Broadcast Network. A 24-hour message line, 713-570-6736. My time is far spent, and I must exit stage left. But until the next time, you guys be blessed. We'll see you on the other side.